Hi there, it's Kim, and in this video I want to give a short overview and introduction to the 9 levels or 9 methods in the Qigong Yuan Gong system. Now, as you can see, there is a pyramid here, and I'm going to move from the bottom to the top. So we start with Tian 1, which means heavenly Qigong. And this is a moving method. In other words, the body and the limbs are moving as we do the exercise. And the goal, or one of the main goals of this method, is to bring qi into the body from the universe. So the universe has an unlimited supply of pure Hunwan qi, and we can bring this qi into our body to replenish our energy reserves. And as I shared in another video, there are many ways that we deplete our energy or our qi, and we have prenatal qi and postnatal qi, so you can go and check that video out if you want to find out more about that. But the point is that we deplete our energy or our qi, and also we lessen the quality of our qi. So we're talking here quality and quantity of qi, which needs replenishing and rebuilding. So in Tian 1, we can gather qi into our body to replenish our energy reserves. And it also has many other benefits. It's very, very healing for the body. It's very calming for the mind. And people have experienced very great healing results just from doing Tian 1, heavenly Qigong. The second method is D1, and D1 means earthly method. And D1 is a standing form, which means we're more or less standing still. The hands do move a little bit, or the arms do move a little bit during the practice, but mainly we're standing still. And D1 is really good to practice after Tian 1 because we are able to store the qi that we've gathered into our body. So often, unless we do something to store the qi, it can scatter again. So D1 is very good for storing this qi in our body. And it is also really good for increasing our mental focus and for centering ourselves and grounding ourselves and stopping the monkey mind. It's a very good self-discipline exercise because a lot of us have a lot of trouble sitting still or standing still. We always want to be moving. So D1 really trains us into stillness and centeredness. The third method is Ren Xue, which is a moving Qigong. And what Ren Xue does is it moves qi through the meridian channels, which are these rivers of energy inside of us. It moves qi through the channels and increases the quality of that qi and improves our qi flow inside of us, which then is going to have a beneficial effect on all our organs, tissues and cells. And Ren Xue is the first method where we introduce the concept of Xin Fa, which means that the qi is moving itself and the qi is moving our body. So when we start practicing Ren Xue, we start to notice that the movements are coming automatically and spontaneously, led by the qi, which is a very calming and smoothing feeling. And then once one starts to experience that in Ren Xue, one also can start to experience that in the other methods as well. The fourth method is Sha Wan, which is another moving method. In other words, we're going to be moving the body. And this is focusing on the organs and the qi of the organs. So we have 5 major organ systems in our body, and each major organ has a minor organ or a partner organ associated with it. For example, the lungs is a major organ and its associated partner organ is the large intestine. And then there's also tertiary organ systems associated with each major organ. For example, the skin is the tertiary organ connected with the lungs. So we have lungs connected with the large intestine, connected with the skin. So we tend to forget that our organs are what keep us alive, our major organs. So the heart, the lungs, the liver, the gallbladder, spleen, stomach, kidneys, reproductive organs, etc., etc. And a few of these organs we can live without, for example, the gallbladder and the spleen, but most of these organs we cannot live without. We can't live without a heart or a liver or our lungs. So the health of these organs is really important. And not only the physical health, but also the emotional health, because our organs are affected by our thoughts and our emotions. And actually, emotional energy can get built up and stored as toxins in our internal organs. And when we hold all this emotional energy inside of us, then that is very harmful. So Shawan helps us to balance out our organ energy on a physical level, but also on an emotional level. And then Zhongwan is the first still Qigong method or Yuan Gong method in this system, which means that we're sitting. We're sitting in a meditative posture. And Zhongwan starts the process of moving qi in deeper meridian pathways within our body. And this is continued on in Shengwan. So they're actually a pair, really, these two methods, the fifth method and the sixth method. And the thing with the Zhongwan and the Shengwan methods is that the qi needs to start moving by itself. We do the practice, but the qi will start moving by itself, and this is not something we can force. And there are several stages within each of these methods, within the Zhongwan and the Shengwan methods. There are several stages within each method, and we cannot progress to the next stage until we have completed the prior stage, and that will happen spontaneously. It's not something that we can make happen or force. And then there is Tongwan, which is also a still Qigong method where we're sitting. And this is working directly on cultivating the 5 essential qualities of the heart. And the 5 essential qualities of the heart are trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gongjing. And Gongjing is a composite word, but one of its foundation qualities is true respect and also humility. So in order to progress ourselves, we need to work on our Xingling, which is our heart consciousness, and we do this through Tongwan and cultivating the 5 essential qualities of the heart, which are doorways to the true self. Then we move into Lingwan, which again is a still Qigong, more of a meditative method, where we are working directly on transforming unhealthy patterns of consciousness. So at our very core, we have what are called patterns of consciousness, which are running the show like software in the background. And these patterns drive our every thought, belief, behavior, action, everything. But mostly we don't realize these patterns are there because they're in the background, they're in the unconscious, they're transparent. So Lingwan helps us to understand what these fundamental patterns of human consciousness are, and it gives us a methodology for transforming these unhealthy patterns. And when we do that, we move closer and closer to our true self, because the patterns or the unhealthy patterns of consciousness are actually what we call our false self or the false master. And our main goal, or one of our main goals in Ren Xue, is to dissolve this false master and these unhealthy patterns of consciousness so that the roadblocks to reaching our true self are cleared away. And then we have the final method, which is Mingwan, which is a process of self-observation where one learns to cultivate what is called Jue Cha, or self-awareness, and it is a method which one can do any time during the day in one's daily life. One can be practicing Mingwan and Jue Cha just every day as you're doing whatever you're doing in your daily life. Now, as you can see from this pyramid, we have these methods from 1 to 9, and I just want to share now any prerequisites for some of these methods, because some of these methods you can go straight into. You don't have to have done any of the other methods, and some of them you must have already learned and practiced one of the previous methods. So for Tian 1, D 1, Ren 1, and Xia 1, there is no prerequisite. You can go straight into them. For Zhong 1 and Shang 1, you're going to need to have done some practice of some of the other previous methods. And there is no prerequisite for starting to practice Tong 1, but you must have practiced Tong 1 in order to practice Ling 1 or Ming 1. And you must have practiced both Tong 1 and Ling 1 to learn and practice Ming 1. So I hope this little tour has been useful as an introduction to the 9 levels and methods of Yuan Gong.